Morning, everybody. Today's a special day because I'm actually going to go set up my bow today with one of my longtime buddies, Mike Crawford. He's been doing work for Garrett and I on our bows and for the last, I don't know, 10, 12 years, ever since we got into archery. So it's always good going down and seeing him. And I've got my VXR here. And we're gonna get her open and sight it in. I guess the reason that I'm doing this so late and not doing it when it came in July is that my release broke. So I had to send my release in, and I just got my release back today. So I'm gonna go down there and we're gonna get it set up and ready for archery season. So a little bit about the stuff that I'm putting on my bow. I got my stuff right here. So I've got a Mathews flatline stabilizer that I'm gonna put on it, and this is actually the color of my bow. And then I've got some red monkey tails to match the string. I've got an integrate rest. So Mathews does something pretty interesting. They take a rest and they machine the riser. You guys can see my verdicts right here. They machine the riser with like a little notch so that this rest is made for the bow. And then I've got my quiver, and then my sight that I'm going to be using this year is the HHA Tetra Max. So it's a single pin sight, super durable. On my verdicts last year I have the HHA Tetra, so that's what that looks like. There's a little difference in the wheel design and a little bit of a difference in the machining of the bridge that connects the sight housing to the riser. So that's what I'm putting on it this year, and hopefully in about 2 hours after Mike gets his hands on it, it's deadly. If you are in the Galesburg area, which is Knox County, Illinois, and you're interested in having Mike set up your bow, he actually works part-time. Mike's a semi-retired lineman, and so big congratulations on that, Mikey. And you can get it set up through him at Griswold Archery, which is in Cameron, Illinois, which is about 5 or 6 miles to the west of Galesburg. And Mike and Terry out there can take care of it. Oh, we're going back to the truck. This is the arrow that I shoot. It's a gold tip Kinetic Pierce 300. So they make this in a platinum. It's got an outsert on the end there, which gives it a little more FOC. And I've got a NAP quick fletch. It's a Hellfire quick fletch as my fletching, and they skipped right through a couple deer last year, no hiccups. So I'm gonna keep using them, and they penetrate well, and they're a micro diameter. It's a 5mm shaft, so that's what I'll be shooting out of that setup. So for those of you guys that do not know, I actually made a film about Mike Crawford, and you can watch it in season 3. It's our last episode. It's episode 18 in season 3, and the episode name is Old Boy. And he actually went hunting at one of Garrett and I's farms with Garrett a couple years ago, and shot some deer with Garrett, shot a turkey, and was really happy. So there he is right there in the heart. He's dialed and ready to go. Check it out. He's in his natural habitat. There he is. We better go say hi to him. Put some pants on, you're on film. What?
You know what happens when you don't set your yardage pin?
What happens when you don't set your yardage pin?
You overshoot the target.
You overshoot the target?
Yes.
Did you send some first-class airmail this morning?
Yes, I did.
It happens to everybody.
I'll have to get out there with my bare feet and find it in the grass.
Going stepping on it?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I'm sure he'll find it, right?
Oh yeah.
But
find him all the time.
Either way, this is the man, the myth, the legend, Mike Crawford.
There you go.
And
we're gonna tune some bows today.
We're gonna tune some bows, and that's the shop. You want to tour everybody around your shop here, which is sweet.
Sure.
This is at home in his garage. As you can see, Mikey is
antique bows.
All of his antique bows, and
see, I date back to these when they first started.
Hey, that's basically as good as the VXR that we're gonna be tuning today.
Allen, that's right.
Yeah, this is the setup.
We got the press. We got all the tools. We got all the equipment. Just got done fletching some arrows over here for an old timer that shoots a recurve.
Ooh, he's got aluminum shaft too, huh? Nice. Yeah, there's the wall of tools. You got pretty much everything in here. Anything anybody could ever need for setting up a bow.
Just for setting it up and getting her ready to go.
You ready to do this?
I'm ready to do it.
All
Let's
right.
go. The unveiling.
The unveiling. What's the first step?
First step, make sure it's in time, which both holes are lined up. We'll put it in the press, measure for a D-loop, and put some stuff together, put the rest on, and start shooting. All right, what we're going to do is take this little set screw out. This comes apart, put it back on the bow, put this back together and center it on the burger button hole. See, I should have been a surgeon.
A surgeon? So basically you're just getting those two knots formed on either side of the knock.
Either side of the knock, but what I'm doing here is putting an overhand knot on each side of the string so they lay on top of each other. This also, if you get these on, keeps you from having knock pinched so it doesn't raise your arrow up out of the rest.
Then you're taking your jig off.
Yep. Remember, fire goes up.
Fire goes up.
So we don't want to
burn
the
up.
string. Yep.
Perfect. So you're kind of pulling it out to the side and then working your way in, huh?
Yep. Try not to get a flame.
So you're just wanting to melt the end of it there?
Just melt the end of it. You crystallize. I don't want to do that as much as there's about what we want. What we want to do too, you don't have to film this, but I'll explain it. When you put this on like this and like this, and when you pull this knot up tight, come on. When you pull this up tight, you want to pull this way because if you pull into the knot, you don't want it to untie. So that was wrong for a right-handed shooter. Got it?
Yep.
So now I got to think, though. What we have is when you pull this back, and if there's any twist in it, because you're right-handed, you'll keep that knot.
Oh.
This will not pressure into that knot.
So you're going to want to pull the excess string away from the direction of the little burr you just created.
Mm-hmm. Well, you will. As a shooter, you will.
How many of these did you make before you got the hang of it? You think you've tied 1,000 D-loops?
I've probably, over 12 years, I've probably tied 1,000 D-loops.
Now basically you're doing the same thing to the drop away here, except for you created a little bead on the end.
Yes.
And you created that bead to avoid putting this, lots of people call it a football, right?
Footballs.
Yep.
Clamps, I'm not sure what the directions call it.
So we're going to put it back in the press, and you're going to serve it in through
the down cable.
The down cable?
Yes, right under the serving. Mathews has got a serving right here made for this rest.
Right.
Put in a peep sight. Then you're going to pull it back and get it set to your comfort level. And then we're going to tie it in and hope we can get some rotation.
Okay, so you're just kind of opening the string. That's a nice thing about most bows nowadays come with a little tie right there,
Correct. And it really helps you, especially when you don't have two color strand, it really helps you find the center.
Drawing the bow back.
We're going to draw the bow back. We're going to set your drop away. And we're also going to check your stops to make sure your bow is in time. How many pounds is this spirit?
70?
Okay. There's the stops, coming up on the stops. Now, the two stops should be hitting the cables at the same time. The rest should have seeked itself.
Okay.
And oops, excuse me, and it's
No,
set. And there's your cord that's going to be left over. We'll dress that up in a little bit. And we have just a slight bit of peep rotation, but we ought to probably get 30 shots into it to see where everything's going to settle in. All right.
Cracking out the optics.
This is the new model compared to the old
Tetra and the optimizer Kingpin.
Yes.
The optimizer Kingpin is that Garrett got that like 4 seasons ago, and he shot the heck out of that until just this year, and he's switching and putting the Tetra on his VXR. Okay, so we took one shot, and my peep's not rotating right, so we took it back to the press, rotated the string a half rotation, and now it sits perfectly. So now we're gonna go shoot it through some paper and make sure that's tuned with paper, and then we're gonna sight it in. What are we looking for out of these holes? Which is the best hole?
Well, you're looking for a hole with 3 angles of the vanes or feathers. This one's a tad bit down, but this is 2 different size arrows.
So that'd be like a bullet hole. That's what we're looking
That's
for right
hole.
there.
That's what we want.
That means the knock's traveling in right behind the field tip.
Right. Look at the, show them the pictures there.
All right.
You did it, not me.
So that's the first shot.
That's
it
the
could have
first
been
shot.
torquing it a little bit around,
Yeah,
but then
torque.
there's the second one, which is
Perfect.
money, and then the third one.
Just a little bit. That might be a vane tear anyway.
Yeah.
That's a vane tear.
So that's pretty good.
Yes. Now we're going to try this with the vane the opposite direction, just to see what we got.
Okay. So we're at 60, about ready to attempt the first shot. So what we're doing here is basically, can I see our paper, buddy? We're taking these numbers, right?
Yes.
And on the setup wheel, when you get any single pin sight from HHA, you are going to sight in at the very top at 20, and that's going to be your 0. So that way, so that'll be sighted in. So we sighted the single pin in at 20 with the reading of 0, with the setting of 0. And then we stepped back to 30, and then we got it close, and that was pin number 8. At 40 yards, we used pin number 20, and that was actually a 5X. And then at 50 yards, we shot about 1.5 inches left and high, which could have been me, and that was 33. So we're taking these numbers, and we're using it to predict what tape number 60 could be. Then once we get our number for tape number 60, and we're happy with the consistency of the shot, then we use the actual tape.
Yes, we're going to take this setup wheel and actually make a copy, put it on the original wheel, take this off so we can use it again without destructing any of the numbers. That setting though.
That was number 48. 48. So we just took our first shot at 60. Go get the arrow. And it was pretty good. Not too bad for the first shot out of the bow. Considering we've been, only sighting in for about 25 minutes. So here's my first shot at 60. I was a dumbass and only brought one arrow with me. But it's about, 4 or 5 inches away from where I wanted it. So I'm gonna take her back, keep shooting it. Here was tape number 47. Like I said, HHA and a couple other manufacturers make it pretty easy. I've been shooting the HHA for 2 years now. Garrett actually got his Kingpin 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and he really liked it, and I made the switch. And here's the second shot with our next tape. So 48 was a little high. 47 is looking pretty good though. So I'm gonna shoot this again, but this is the second shot out of that bow at 60. And so it's about, 1.5 inches or 2 off of center. So I'm gonna take it out. And now I'm just gonna kind of just like a scientist would, I'm just gonna check the hypothesis that 47 is the right number. So I'm just gonna shoot 4 or 5 more times and see if I get the same results, and if they look good and my human error is as low as it could be, and I'll probably go with setup tape of 47. It's set up. We got all of our stuff, so I'm going to go home and shoot this for the next couple, 4, 5, 6 days and make sure that these numbers are consistent. This is the number that I care about the most, is 60 yards. So I'm guessing it's either going to be 46, 47, or 48, but 47 was really consistent today. So
3-inch groups at 60 yards, not bad.
Not bad. So
all right.
That's a good first day, and thanks again for helping me set it up, buddy.
Yes, we're going to do it again. All right. Go harvest one.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next week.